So I'm going to talk about a good SAT book. I'm not going to say it's the best book out there because I can't say that and I don't know for sure, but I would say it's one of the best books out there, and it's called the Official SAT Study Guide. It's a blue and green book, and you can find it off Amazon, eBay, all those websites, and it's not expensive. It's between 10 to 20 bucks, and if you get a used book, which has nothing wrong with them, they're around, I think, 7 or something. I think I got my book for like $8 off Amazon, and I'd recommend that website. And I got a used book, and there was nothing wrong with it, no writing, nothing. And you can just check that if you go to Amazon.com and you pick the book out, and it'll tell you in the description if the person wrote in it and everything, so you'll know before you get it. I know people are biggie about used things. So okay, the first thing I'm gonna start out with, that the book is big. It's a big book, and I like that because you don't run out. You don't need to keep buying books. I know I had a problem with that with other books. My Revolution Prep book was pretty small, and I ran out of that. I'm done with that book. Got it done in I think 3 weeks. But this book, I'm not even 1/4 of the way done, and it's gonna last me a long time. So that's a plus. And the book is by College Board, and I'm pretty sure for all you SAT takers, you know what that website is. Just go to collegeboard.com, and that's where you sign up to take your SATs. And plus, College Board has practice tests that you can take on the website. Not only does it have SAT tests that you can take, it has ACTs, AP exams, practice exams, practice subject tests, and all that stuff. I think it's a great website, so I recommend you go to it. I'll put the link in my description. Just make an account. It just takes 2 minutes, and you can get started. And my next thing that I'm going to go over is that this book has 10 tests, practice tests. And what I like about them is that they're on the same difficulty level as the actual SATs because it's by the makers of the SATs. And I've had a problem with that because a lot of the SAT classes, the practice exams that you take in SAT classes, they're really easy most of the time. And when you get to the actual SATs, it's what the hell? I've been taking easy tests, and they're throwing this really hard test at me. I think it's because it's the way you've been practicing and stuff. Because that happened to me when I first took my SATs. I was like, this is way harder than the practice SATs I've been taking every Saturday. But I did decent. I got an 1820, and so yeah. And another thing that's really good about this book is that it explains questions to you, of course, for passage-based reading and sentence structures and sentence completions, all that stuff. It gives you a question, it gives you answer choices, you pick whatever you think the right answer is, and then you look underneath that question, and it'll tell you the right answer, and it'll give you an explanation. And it's a good detailed explanation too. It's 2 to 3 paragraphs, and it tells you why other choices don't work and why the one that's right works, which is good because I know a lot of people just pick answers, of course, with sentence completions and stuff, and they don't know why they got it wrong. And that doesn't help because if you don't know why you got it wrong, you're not going to improve. And something I forgot to mention in my last video is that take the SATs 3 times. I recommend it. I'm going to take it 3 times because then your max score is higher. So you should take it. So don't worry when you take the SAT the first time and you get a 1300. I know a friend of mine who's extremely smart, A+ student in school, really good at math and everything. He just got a 1300 on his SATs. I got a 1330. And I was surprised. I was like, why'd you get a 1330? And it's just, I guess, because he didn't study and stuff. But he's not freaking out because he can take it 2 more times. And if he just studies for that, he'll be fine. So don't worry if you get a low score on your first one. It's not the end of the world. And now I'm going to talk about essays. Because there's a big problem with that is that you can't practice essays at home because you won't know if you're doing good or not because you don't have someone grading it. And I mean, you can get a parent or someone to grade your essay for you, but it's different from the actual SAT people grading your papers for you because they grade on a different rubric and everything. So this book has sample essays that you can read, and I think it's like they gave you like 10 or 5 or something like that per section, and they tell you what that person got and why they got it and what they did wrong and how they could improve it, which I like because a lot of the essays it's just how like we write. It's not complicated essays or anything. It's like everyday vocab that we use, stuff. It's just like how an essay we would word. So it's good and it does help. Because it tells me what I need to improve and what mistakes I shouldn't make when I write my essays. And so my last thing, which I mentioned a little while ago, that this book is by the actual makers of the SATs. So the difficulty level is the same, and it just all depends on what SAT you get when you go take it, because they're all mixed up. Whenever they have SATs, you're never going to get the same SAT when you take it the first time. You're not going to get it the second time. It changes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I recommend you getting this book. I'll put a link for the book in the description, and I'll put a link for collegeboard.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I mentioned in my other video, if you guys want free practice SAT tests, just message me and I'll give them to you guys. I'll talk to you about that in my inbox. But please subscribe. And that's it. Thank you for watching.